As I was growing up, I grew up in a pastor's home. I saw a lot of things that I thought were very hypocritical. And so I didn't want to have anything to do with Christianity. But at 21 years old, I was working, I had a great job, and it all seemed to be in vain. There was nothing to this. And I was making good money and had my own place, but there was nothing to it. And so my grandmother was this Christian, and she was pretty constant in this relationship. And so I said to the Lord, I want the kind of faith that my grandmother has, because I don't want to play a game. So I began studying God's Word. And we also, growing up, had Bible study and testimony time on Wednesday nights. And so people would testify and they'd say, I've been blessed, God gave me this, and there'd be a car. I've been blessed, I got a paycheck in the mail, or I got another check in the mail. I've been blessed, I got this, or I got this. I never heard in all of my years of growing up in that church, I've been blessed, God's given me a child. And so as I began to learn by studying God's Word, and I saw that children are an inheritance. So when I saw this in God's Word, as I'm beginning to learn about Him and study that children are an inheritance and a reward, and the man is blessed who has a quiver full of them, I'm like, if I ever get married, I'm having kids. Because if this is such a great thing that God gives it as an inheritance and a blessing, I want all that I can get. God, in His infinite wisdom, brought along this guy, Robyn McKelvy, and he became my best friend. And one day, my best friend asked me to marry him, and I reluctantly said, okay. So I came into the marriage thinking, now I believe this, Ray. This is what I believe, that I want to have as many children as God gives me. And his eyes get this big. And because having children for us hasn't been easy. It's almost cost me my life a couple of times. But that was part of what I believe the Lord allowed me to do, because we chose, after I had my second child, it was because I had them back to back. Like 9 months later, I was having another baby. 14 months later, having another, 13 and a half months. So my first 4, 3.5 years apart. And so we stepped out on faith and I came home. And as I began to love children, there were more and more and more children. And then not only that, I grafted in my nephews and nieces that were from single-parent homes. So we always had kids around us. And I think everybody, no matter how old you are, is somebody's child. So I'll talk to the lady at the post office who may be down and even pray with her or meet her around the back to pray with her, because she's somebody's child and she needs to be loved on. And I've had more people in this lap than I can count, because so many moms have forgotten that even our grown kids, get me crying, need a lap. So loving children is something I'll do till I die. We should always be looking for a way we can love these kids in our neighborhoods, at schools. My kids were at public school. We're homeschooling now, but they were at public school. I went up. I was a room mom on purpose, because our light should shine in such a way that there's a difference, and children should want to know what that difference is.